This meeting's being, okay. I've never seen it from this end, so.
Oh, okay. And then where's the recording?
Says you're live on YouTube.
Yeah. I'm just looking for the part now. Oh, record. Okay, so we are live, we are recording. It is approximately 7:02 p.m. We do have a few guests with us this evening. There are multiple items on the agenda, but our first order of business is the public hearing for the amendment to the zoning bylaw. This public hearing does not require any motions. What it does is offer an opportunity for the public and representatives to make submissions in favor or opposed to the zoning bylaw amendment. And so we can call the public meeting to order. May I have a mover for the adoption of the agenda, please? Moved by Councillor Wood, seconded by Councillor Wainman. All in favor? Thank you. Councillor Miro, are you able to unmute just for the voting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
I am in favor.
All right, and so now we can move on to declaration of conflict of interest or pecuniary interest. Do we have any this evening on the public hearing? See none. And on to the hearing itself, item 4.1, which is RFCD 2021 SAO 96, the zoning bylaw amendment 2673 P&E 21. Excuse me. So we'll start with section A, presentations in favor. First, do we have any written submissions? SAO Hood or acting SAO MOB?
No,
I have not received any written.
I have not received any too.
Great, thank you. So then we'll move on to verbal submissions, and I do see that we have Eveline here. Are you looking to speak in the verbal submissions?
Yeah.
Okay. Please go ahead.
We're just going to share our screen, Natasha.
I don't think we're prepared for that. I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if I just changed it so that you can do it. Is it a presentation you're making?
Yeah.
Okay. Just one moment. Point of order, SAO Hood, is that part of the public hearing then? You're muted if you're speaking.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a verbal. If they want to have pictures with it, it's still a verbal. That it just that it you can limit the amount of time.
Okay.
So I'm not too sure how long it is. You may want to ask that first. How long it is.
Okay,
It's
well,
not very long. Yeah. 7 slides, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Generally, we go with 10 minutes, so let's just target that. And if it's less, great. So Eveline, go ahead.
So our first slide talks to the project overview. So IRC has attained funding from CMHC to construct and operate a transition home for women and children. This home will provide much needed services and will be in addition to existing transition homes and shelters in the region. So for some information on the programming, IRC is committed to ensure implementation of many federally approved calls for action. Example, the TRC recommendation, Missing Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls Action Plan, and also UNDRIP, which is the United Nations Declaration of Rights for Indigenous People. So just keeping that in mind, I guess that with the work that we're going to do that will guide and help us to develop our work plans. Programming at the proposed transition home will be enhanced and delivered by existing staff of the IRC Health and Wellness Division. And where needed, more staff will be hired and trained to work with the clients at the home. So some of the building components, I guess, up to 15 bedrooms, which will include accessible rooms. Each room will contain beds, furniture, and a private half bathroom, up to 5 office spaces, quiet rooms, lounge areas, a common kitchen and dining areas, central gathering area, common laundry area, secured entrance, and fenced-in yard with a playground area. So there is the preliminary site plan, and then the preliminary floor plan. And then the elevations of the building on the south and north side of the building. And the east and west elevation also. And that's the slide. So we're prepared to take any questions. If council needs more information or clarification, and for the drawing part, I have Kate is here and Denny's here available to respond where I can't answer.
Thank you very much. Maybe we'll go ahead to questions then before we move on to the opposed. So Councillor Wood, go ahead.
Yeah, unless I read the slides wrong, is the location down by the Finto or where the Finto used to be in that area?
Yeah, that's the location that we're looking at.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Councillor Wood. Any other questions from council at this time?
Yeah, it's Alana here.
Go ahead, Elena.
I just want to say I think this is greatly needed, and just want to thank IRC for being willing to put this forward.
Great, thank you very
Thank you.
much. Right. I don't believe there are any other questions, so thank you very much for giving your verbal submission.
Sorry, can we, Denny here.
Yeah,
Thank you. Sorry, can we, just a little clarification on process for us. So we're to understand that tonight is to look at potentially amending the bylaw to allow for a conditional use for this on that lot. Once that bylaw has been amended, then of course we would do a full development permit where we'd have to give you a full set of drawings, and we were made aware of that by your staff, which we appreciate. And then we would submit those drawings and a development permit now, knowing that there is a conditional use allowance on that property. Is that correct?
I believe so. So the public hearing now would be would move us to second reading, which then also we would move forward to third reading unless there are any major things that come up this evening, which it doesn't seem that way so far, but we haven't got to the opposed yet if there are any. And then, yes, so that would mean that within the bylaw itself, there would be a conditional use for the type of building that you guys are talking about. And so that means that then, as you said, when you come forward for your full development permit, you have your drawings, you go through that process, then you're looking for that specific conditional use, which would come to council for approval, and then move forward from there. So SAO Hood, did I miss anything there?
No, the key there is that council, any conditional use, they approve it. They're actually approving the development permit is what they're approving. And that's why we need that. And then it can come to council for approval. I'd say that barring any unforeseen circumstances, Administration is all for it. It's just there's certain things that we have to under the legislation we have to follow.
But it wouldn't require first, second, and third reading again then, right? Because it is a conditional use, so council would just be able to approve it at a council.
It's just a resolution by council. Yes.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Perfect. Great. Thank you for that clarification.
All right, thank you very much. So with that, then we can move on to 4.1B, which are presentations of opposed. And again, I'll look to acting SAO Omobi as well as SAO Hood to hear if there are any written submissions.
Sorry, Mayor Kulikowski, I would check with the Director of Finance or who's acting SAO if there's anybody present at the community lounge that wishes to speak.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know if there's anybody there, but we should just get confirmation if there is somebody there that wanted to speak or anything. What we're talking about with the
In favor.
any verbal other submissions in favor.
Thank you.
Okay, there is nobody here at this time.
All right, thank you. So then I will ask again, do we have any written submissions opposed?
I did not receive any.
All right. And do we have any verbal submissions opposed? I don't believe we do, as there's no one in the room. Thank you. So lastly is 4.1C, Senior Administrative Officer points of clarification and comments, if there are any remaining.
At this time, I don't think there's much I can really add. Again, it was a very good presentation, and administration is at fully support. We have actually given the proponents a letter of support to help them. We will continue to help them wherever we can within the regulations that we have to follow. But we fully support this venture.
All right, thank you. So that does complete the public hearing. We just need a motion for adjournment, please. By Councilor Wood. Don't think I need a vote to adjourn. I think just the mover is good. So thank you very much, Evelyn and Denny. You are welcome to leave if you like. The actual item is a little bit further down on the agenda, so thank you for attending this evening. So now we can move on to our regular council meeting. So it is 7:14 p.m. We can call the meeting to order. I do have a change on the agenda. I would like to remove item 9.2, which was the quarry bylaw updates. With some review, there's a lot more, or there is some more work that needs to be done with the wording, and particularly with the addition of the active mining lease section, which I would like to see administration take back to legal to do some more work on. So hopefully council is all right with that change. Otherwise, I do not have.
So we're going to add third reading in 9.1.
Yeah, I was just going to say. So, yes. So we will add third reading and remove 9.2. With those changes, may I have a mover of the agenda, please? Moved by Councilor Wood, seconded by Deputy Mayor Barlock. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you.
In favor.
And on to declaration of conflict of interest or pecuniary interest. Do we have any this evening? Councilor Wainman?
The in-camera session.
Okay, thank you. And on to item number 4, delegations, presentations, or petitions. 4.1, we do have Mark Bishop here from the RCMP. Mark, you're welcome to come on camera to present the RCMP report for September.
All right, thank you for having me again. I'll present the September report and of course take any questions, and then I assume council may have some questions about the recent shooting this weekend, which I can also provide some information on and take any questions after that. So for September, slight increase in calls compared to the September of the previous year. The one issue or the biggest jump you'd see would be the Liquor Act that went from 9 last year up to 53 this year. I actually had to go into each individual one, and most of those should have been placed in the category of public intoxication causing a disturbance, which would actually bring the number in line. So it's a bit of a mistake on my part, just in regards to which category it should be in. You'll notice the impaired driving was a slight decrease, and mental health complaints were also a slight decrease. There were 15 reports of domestic violence, which resulted in 9 people being charged. Those matters are still before the courts. 7 reports of impaired driving, which resulted in 2 charges being laid, and then 1 driving suspension issued. There was also the search and rescue effort that occurred on September 24th as well, for the male who went into the water there near the boat launch. We said a big thank you to everybody that came out and helped with that search. It certainly wasn't just the agencies, it was a community effort for sure. Unfortunately, the male was deceased but was located. So that investigation is still ongoing. We're assisting the Office of the Chief Coroner. And of course, our condolences to the family on that. A couple events that we attended in September. We had a delegation come from Yellowknife that attended the Arctic Market. Some people may have seen the police dog that was there. And that was recruitment, especially in regards to women in policing. We also attended the Terry Fox Run, very happy for the invite there. As well, we did attend the walk in support of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. We weren't there in uniform, but of course we were still there and very happy to very happy to be there and appreciate the invite for sure. Other than that, that's it for the September report. Territorial court matters are still postponed. And I know they were pushed to October, and it appears that that again is going to be pushed forward. I expect something coming in the next few days. I saw in the media this morning that an announcement is expected. So still unsure yet when the court matters are going to resume. And then I'm not sure if I want to open up to any questions for the September report, or if you just like to give me an update, or I can give you an update story on the weekend shooting that just happened.
I think just giving the update would be great. And then if there are remaining questions, we can move to that.
Yeah, for sure. So this weekend, as you likely heard, and then of course seen in the media, there was the shooting at midnight on the 10th. So it'd be Saturday going into Sunday, just past midnight. And that was on Mackenzie Road. The victim was transported out of the community for treatment. And then the accused, who is named, it's, I believe, 38-year-old William Alikuk, has been charged with attempted murder. He was located that evening a short while later. So he remains in custody at this time. I don't have his next court date in front of me, but he still remains in custody.
All right, thank you very much for that update and for the September report. Are there questions from council at this time? Deputy Mayor Barlock.
Great, thank you. Not so much questions. I think we've talked about it a bit before, where a few years ago, we had really done a strong promotion of the Crime Stoppers tip line. And we did at that time have quite a surge in the reporting from the community on issues related particularly to drug trafficking and drug possession issues. And we did see a surge in responding to that, largely due to the community reporting, as it was told to us at the time by the RCMP. So I think given the circumstances we've been experiencing, and I know there's a lot of concern out in the community, we probably want to do another big push and encourage people to come forward and do that community reporting to assist the RCMP to be able to action some of these issues that are happening in the community. And really, I think helping people understand that when they are accessing that tip line, that they can do the reporting anonymously, because we have been made aware that that is a concern a lot of people have, is that if they report, they're going to get pulled into potential court proceedings and have to be witnesses, and that prevents a lot of people because they're scared to get openly involved. But encouraging them and making them understand that they can do that reporting anonymously, I think, the motivation is out there right now in the community to try to do something about what we've been witnessing. And I think a big push from the town, from the RCMP and any other agencies on utilizing that Crime Stoppers tip line, I think would be prudent on our part right now.
Great. Yeah, definitely agree that some public campaign would be good. Mark, I don't know how much you want to get into it. I know that also around the same time that we had those types of busts and arrests happening, there was a pilot program happening here in Inuvik where we did have an officer who was, if not fully, then mostly dedicated to those types of crimes. And since that pilot project ended, we've not had that here in town. And so I guess in my conversation earlier this week with the RCMP, I kind of said that, if there's something that we can do as the town, whether it's, speaking with another level of government or advocating with the Inuvik RCMP to the G division to try to get something like that to happen, we would certainly be on board for that. And so, Mark, I don't know if you have anything to add to that idea or, just what your thoughts are.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, I have to speak about it as two separate issues. I can't relate the weekend shooting, anything to the drug problem or anything in regards to that. So really, it's separate issues. How I have to speak about it now, the matter is still before the court. So of course, we can't say anything along the lines of motive or reason why. But in regards to the information from the public and Crime Stoppers, absolutely, the information from the community is by far the most important part. That's how a lot of the investigations start or get solved, for sure. In regards to the position that was here, we can certainly discuss that, and I can escalate the concerns forward. Obviously, it's at a level higher than myself, just here in charge of a Inuvik detachment, but absolutely we can either arrange a meeting or forward that to the next level above. If that's something the council is interested in, whether whether it's a meeting or whether it's written, kind of whatever the council would prefer.
Sorry, and perhaps just picking up on that too, Madam Mayor. I think this is an issue that a lot of the surrounding communities are also concerned about, particularly when we're coming to the winter season and the ice roads are going to come in. There's a heightened level of concern, not only in Inuvik, but in the other communities in the region as well, about the issue of drugs in the region. And I think you would probably be able to get pretty good regional support, or we'll say, I guess, Mayor-elect Wood would be able to perhaps recruit support, written support from all the surrounding communities as well, from their mayors. I think it's the issue's at the forefront of everybody's mind right now. And I think it's a good time to bring forward the fact that this is an issue of high regional concern, not even just specific to Inuvik.
Great, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any further questions or comments from council at this time? Seeing none. All right, thank you, Mark, for your time this evening and for the presentation. Next time that you are here, there will be some different faces around the table and a different chair in place. So thanks very much.
All right, thank you again.
And so we can move on to item 4.2. Sharon Rogers is here on the line with us to speak about the interest on the property taxes for a home here in town. Sharon, if you can unmute yourself. You can go
Hi.
ahead. Hi, and we just have about 10 minutes or less, so please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much for allowing me to speak to this. My mother's land taxing hasn't been paid for about 4 years, and that accumulated a lot of interest on there. And it's just been paid recently, all land taxes and any overdue except for the interest on it. And my mother is now residing in the long-term care since October 2017. And at the time of this, we didn't realize that because she didn't no longer lived in the house, that we didn't know that she still had to pay taxes on it. So that's why the big delay in the payment, because we just recently found out that because she is, even though it's her home and she's not in there, she still has to pay the taxes on it. So it's just been recently paid. Now I'm just wondering about the interest because she is an elder, she's 80 years old, and she's paying $850 right now at the long-term care, and her financial situation is not very well. She's only getting like $1,300, little more than $1,300 per month, and has to pay $850 from that pension, which doesn't leave her with much. And also just being back from Edmonton, and she's also a little bit behind on her rent as well. So I'm wondering if there's a possibility of writing off that interest.
Okay, thank you very much for presenting. Acting SAO Amobi did send out from the Cities, Towns and Villages Act to Council the process that we do have for forgiveness of debt. And so there is no decision to be made tonight, just so that everyone's aware, unless council asks administration to look further into it. And then for the next council meeting, there would be like a request for council decision brought forward. But I wanted to see if there was any information that SAO Hood or acting SAO Amobi would like to present at this time.
Right now, I guess from an administrative point of view, we certainly sympathize with the situation and other people. I would have to say, however, that it becomes a very difficult as it opened the door. We always talk about precedents and stuff like that, and it's nice to do it for one person, but then now are we going to become a situation where we are going to get a lot of people coming in and actually bogging down council, and it is an expensive project to write off, as you know, you have to advertise, give reasons, and it's not a simple thing even to write off $1. At this point, the only concern I have is inundating or council being inundated with further requests of other people wanting to have this or that written off.
Thank you, SAO Hood. So Sharon, I just want to say thank you again for bringing your presentation to us. It certainly does, bring empathy for the situation. I guess just while we have council and Sharon is still here, are there any questions from council?
I actually have a question for SAO Hood.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Am I correct in thinking that tax arrears somebody could enter into a payment plan and basically gradually get that amount down?
Oh, absolutely. We are open. We can have agreements. We've done it with many people if there is an issue, and we don't want to create a financial hardship for people that we have entered into a number of agreements with them, and it's not, over a 2-year period or whatever. They just have to contact the lands officer, and she will certainly make arrangements to formalize it and come up with a plan that's agreeable for both parties.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any further questions from council at this time? So I guess the question then is to council, would you like administration to come back with some options here? I'm sure that SAO Hood and Ms. Rogers could have a conversation too about kind of what different options look like. And yeah, I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
where
that
to go
sounds
from
good
here.
to me. Sorry.
Okay, so maybe we'll let that happen, and you guys can see kind of what the options are laid out, and then if there does come a time when a council decision is needed, then it will come in the form of a council decision itself with a mover and all of the rest of that. But I certainly do want to say thank you again, Sharon, for coming tonight and sharing the story and what's going on there. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a really good evening.
You too.
I'll sign out now.
Alrighty. All right, thank you, everyone. So next up on the agenda, we have public question period. And I do not believe we have any submissions, but Chitty, maybe you can confirm.
No submissions.
All right, thank you. So on to the adoption of the minutes of the September 22nd and 2021 council meeting. Wow, can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Wood, seconded by Deputy Mayor Barlock. Questions or comments on the minutes? Discussion? Seeing none. All right, we'll call to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
So moved, thank you. And on to item 7.1, the action items list. Any discussion on the list here? Seeing none. All right, on to new business. And I forgot to introduce her, but we do have Tracy Davison on the line to speak to item 8.1 if there are any questions. So first we will read it on to the table. Recommendation. Yes, recommendation is that Inuvik Town Council hereby waives the rental fee for use of the Midnight Sun Complex Community Hall by the Inuvik Girl Guides between the hours of 5:30 and 8:30 on Mondays. This decision is to be reviewed by council and administration on or before March 1st, 2022. May I have a mover, please? Excuse me. Councillor Wood, and seconder, please. Councillor Wainwright. All right, so the request is pretty straightforward. It is one that we've had before us in the past. So are there any questions from council? Like I say, we do have Tracy here on the line. So Deputy Mayor Barlock, go ahead.
Full disclosure, my daughter is involved in the Girl Guides here, but aside from that, I'm in support of continuing this approach. I thought it worked well from all accounts last year, and I mean, I think it's important programming for the community. It's very well received by the kids involved, so I'd be in support of the motion. And again, with the review halfway through, I think is also a prudent way to approach it.
Okay, great, thank you. And Councillor Wood?
My daughter's too old for Girl Guides, so that's not a problem. I agree with everything Deputy Mayor Barlock said. It is a valuable service to the community. I have no problem approving this as long as it's reviewed halfway through the agreement. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. And Alana or Kurt? Okay. I don't see any hands raised.
Yeah,
So.
it's a wonderful program. I was once a leader of Brownie, so I would support it as well.
Okay, great. So it sounds, yeah, thumbs up. All right, so with that, we can call to a vote then. All in favor?
Yes.
So moved. Thank you. And thank you, Tracy, for being here in case we had any questions. We do appreciate it.
We very much appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, so with that business completed, we can move on to the zoning bylaw amendment, item 9.1. We have been quickly doing some background research to make sure that we can do second and third, and it looks like we are good to go. So to start with, I will read the recommendation that Inuvik Town Council hereby gives second reading to bylaw 2673 P&D 21, a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw 2583 P&D 15. May I have a mover on second reading, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor Barlock and seconded by Councillor Wayman. Any comments or questions at this time?
Madam Mayor, it's just
Yes.
SAO Hood here. Just in the background, I was looking at section 4.21 of the actually zoning bylaws. After giving a proposed bylaw amendment first reading and before giving it second reading, council shall, in compliance with the act and city's town like director, development officer, blah blah blah. And then after that, it says proposed amendments to this bylaw are subject to those same requirements, procedures set out in the Cities, Towns, and Villages Act regarding enactment of bylaws. The Community Planning Act, which also talks about it, makes no mention of a gauge silver type thing under the Cities, Towns, and Villages Act. So you just can't have 3 readings in one meeting kind of a thing. And we've now had the public meeting, and there's no time limit that I can find that you have to wait a certain amount of time or anything after the public meeting to do the second and third readings, etc. I just want to clarify that just so everybody was aware.
Excellent. And yeah, Stephanie Sutton also sent me the bylaw procedures from the CTV Act, which basically echo the same thing that you just said. You can do 2 in one meeting, but you can't do 3 unless you have everyone. So we're good to go here then with both readings. So I will just come back to second reading. Were there any questions on the item? Seeing none, so we'll call to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. And then we'll move to third reading. So recommendation is that Inuvik Town Council hereby gives third reading to bylaw 2673 P&D 21, a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw 2583 P&D 15. May I have a mover of third reading, please? Moved by Councillor Wayne. Seconded by Councillor Wood. Sorry. Any questions or comments on third reading? I'm seeing none. All right, we'll call to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. So we have removed 9.2 from the agenda. And so we can move on to our department head reports. So first we will get them read on the table. Cheat sheet. Motion is that Inuvik Town Council hereby adopts the following department head reports as presented. 10.1, the capital projects report. 10.2, the protective services report. 10.3, the economic development and tourism report. 10.4, the financial report. And 10.5, the community services report. May I have a mover of the reports, please? Moved by Councillor Wood, seconded by Deputy Mayor Barlock. Alrighty, so first we can look at the capital projects report. Were there any questions, comments, or discussion on this item? Deputy Mayor Barlock, go ahead.
Just a quick question with respect to the tourism gateway sign and the lighting. I see it's 95% done. Was there actually more work to do? It looks like the site's complete, or does it just need to be an electrical hookup?
The lighting is not actually hooked up yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's that last little piece. I do
And then
believe.
once it's hooked up, is it just going to run on like a time schedule, or is it just going to be on all the time? Just curious. I have to drive by it every day, so I'm excited to see it lit up in the morning.
We'll have to ask Director Campbell to answer that question.
It'll be hooked up to a sensor that lets it light when it needs to be lit and off in the sunlight. So
Excellent.
Great, thank you.
And one other quick thing.
Go ahead.
I don't know if we just want to put out a little blurb about the Inuvik Visitor Center building. I've had a few people question me about what's actually going up there. I know we've had the public input sessions in the past, but it might be something worthwhile to say, hey, this is now actually going up and this is what this building is going to be. And we're very excited to see it come to fruition. So just, it seems like not many people actually realize what it actually is. So it might be good just to put a little splash on the Facebook announcements or whatever, or send out an email.
Sure. And I'm sure the department already has it in the works, but we can certainly make sure that that happens. Anything else on the capital projects report at this time? None. On to the Protective Services report. Questions, comments, discussion here? None. I'll just give a quick shout out as RCMP stated, you know, a big thank you to the community, and same from the community to all of the rescue service folks who are out there doing that work, and had a successful recovery, which definitely helps to bring some closure while we sit with the sadness of that loss. So definite thank you to all of our frontline workers, all of our emergency responders, and all of the community members as well who were part of that rescue effort. So thank you all. Next up, we can move to the Economic Development and Tourism report. Are there any questions or comments on the report? I'm not sure if you had a chance, but in the bottom of the report, there was a link to kind of like a PowerPoint presentation, which just went over all the summer programming. It's quite an extensive report, and really exciting to see all of the things that happened this summer all in one place. So if you get a chance to go back and just click through that link, it's pretty good. And also included there is the video link for the mural project that were painted during the Sunrise Festival, and then they were hanging in the pavilion for the opening. And so please make sure to check those links if you haven't had a chance yet. Moving on to the financial report. Any questions or comments here on the report? Seeing none. All right. And lastly, the community services report. Any questions or comments there? And seeing none, I know the ice is in, curling has started, hockey has started, so a lot of excited user groups, I'm sure. Yes, all right, so with the reports covered, I will bring to a vote. All in favor of moving the department head reports, or passing them, sorry.
I'm in favor, please.
All right. Kurt, you're frozen. There we go. All right. Thank you. I see you now. All right. On to the information items. Tonight we have the strategic priorities chart, which is the last time that we will see that chart in an official meeting capacity, that is, until the new council comes and sets their priorities. So we can move on then to council concerns. Were there any concerns this evening? Councilor Wood.
Not a concern. I just wanted to make everybody aware that they can get their proof of vaccination online now for those of us that do travel frequently. Very simple process. It took me about a minute to fill out the form they asked for, and 30 seconds later, I received this. So a simple process. If you don't have it, get it. It's quite simple. Thank you.
Thank you. And Deputy Mayor Bartlett, go ahead.
Well, I guess seeing as this is my last meeting for the time being, I just wanted to thank all my fellow councillors on this council and the previous one I worked with about all our good work together. I thought we were able to accomplish quite a bit. I also wanted to give a huge shout out to the staff at the town. Again, I've said it several times, but you can't thank them enough for the good work they do. They make the job as a councillor very easy, easier than I expected it to be at the time. So a huge shout out to them and the work that they do. Great job. Good luck to the next council, whoever that may end up being. And, you know, maybe you'll see me sometime again in the future with my name on the ballot. But I've enjoyed the time. I've learned quite a lot about the community. And even though I've been here all my life, it's definitely gained a lot of new appreciation for the things that go on behind the scenes in this town and all the work that goes into making everything happen. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Councillor Wayman, you had your hand up there for a second.
I just want to know on the strategic plan here, the parks and trails for long-term plan, and it says August 2021. Who's doing the planning of the trails and parks?
So I think, I'm just going to look here. It's under the Public Works and Infrastructure section.
Okay.
And we can ask Director Campbell if he has an update on that plan.
I'm just curious because I emailed in about and I talked about it last council about some of the trails there. I was just wondering if they were going to be included or if they're discussion.
Sure. So Rick, did you have anything to add there?
We have started plans for new trails and stuff like that, but we were waiting for word back from the Gwich'in, and they still haven't given us any word on that. So, but there is a plan. Kessel has it on file somewhere, and I will get it and get it where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see.
Yeah, not a
sure.
problem.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Deputy Mayor Bartlett, go ahead.
I guess I just have one more, which is an actual concern, just respect to the information that's been coming out. I know it's not really the town's responsibility, but there just seems to have been some delays in communication with respect to some of the COVID cases and exposure notices here in town. I don't know if there's any worthwhile, if it's worthwhile at all to make any effort to find out why the communication seems to have some sort of delay here compared to the information that's coming out, say in Yellowknife and Betchico, where notices are coming out sort of the same day. Whereas here our notices are for exposures that happened up to a week ago, which obviously without people being aware that those exposures have happened, it significantly increases the risk of transmission. I think there's a lot of concern in the community about why we haven't been hearing things in a more timely manner. I don't know if there's anything the town may be able to do to try to encourage more communication from the health authority or the chief public health office about why there may be some of these delays. It may just be that that's the delay between getting positive test results. But I think people feel that the timing is not great. And I think we could try to encourage improvements on that from, on sort of behalf of all the residents.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been in contact, even today was in contact with our MLAs, and I understand that at least one of our MLAs has already taken it up with health to see where the gap is on the information sharing, because you're right, it is the second time in the last 2 weeks, basically, that's happened. So certainly it is a concern for us, and it's something that not only are our MLAs raising, but I'm raising at NWTAC, which then we also have a voice with NWTAC. So certainly it's something that's being asked and being requested that it be addressed properly. So thank you for that.
Great. Glad to hear you're on it. Looking forward to hearing what they say back.
If I may interject a little bit on this subject, I did have a lengthy phone call with MACA today as well over this. Because the regional superintendent here also has an issue with the information and is from the MACA point of view and from our area region also expressing concern on our behalf and just on the general population behalf to health.
Great, thank you, Ophid. So I just wanted to do something similar to what Councillor Barlick stated before, just to say thank you to the councillors who've dedicated their time for the last 3 years. I mean, don't want to just sit here and pat ourselves on the back or anything, but we've completed 10 of 14 items that we actually set out on our strategic priority chart. We made some really good headway in reducing council spending. And we've managed to navigate a global pandemic while doing it. So I think that I just want to say thank you to everyone who's worked hard at this table to make the decisions, to make the adjustments we had to make, moving to Zoom, and then all the different ways we've gotten creative over the time to make sure that the work that council does still gets finished has been fantastic, and it's been great to work with all of you. I hope that we get to continue working together in either a council capacity or in other ways in our community. So I just want to finish off with a big thank you to all of you for being here at the table. So. Oh, Councillor Wainman, go ahead. Thank
you, Mayor. Thank you for your time. You've come a long ways. Appreciate working with the council here and everyone. It's been a very interesting 3 years. We're all not quitters like Steve, but anyways, we'll move on. Well, and I appreciate the administration and like echoing what Steve and Natasha said with their the amount of effort they put in. It makes us, being town councilors with the information, very easy to do our job and very informative. Once again, Mayor, I thank you for your time, and I wish you the best of luck in as becoming a councilor, and look forward to seeing you in the future. Take care.
Great, thank you. So we can
Mayor Kulikowski, can I just get the last few words in as well?
Sure.
I just want to thank council and certainly Deputy Mayor Barlock and Councillor Salatke, who unfortunately is, and potentially Councillor Loreen, for the support you've given administration over the last 3 years. It is appreciated. Sometimes we butt heads, but that means we're just both doing our jobs. And I will say, in talking to my peers and stuff like that, I'm fortunate to have a council that I have and that the town has for their understanding, and I'll just say their common sense. And look forward to the next council. Again, and Mayor Kulikowski, it was a pleasure working with you, being next door all the time, and we'll move on from there. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Kurt, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I forgot to say, I enjoyed working with you, Steve. You always said everything I was thinking about before I said it. It was awesome. And have a good day. Carry on. And we'll see you next round. Clarence, congratulations on your win. And hopefully we move forward in the future and have good luck. But Steve, I'm really going to miss you because you always said everything I was thinking. Take care, buddy.
Well, Councilor Wayman, if you get elected, I guess you have to speak up some more.
All right, Clarence will have the last word, and then we'll go to in camera.
I'm going to be very brief because I've said this in private. Thanks, Natasha. You did a really good job the last 3 years, and it was a real steep learning curve. You did well, and I think you'll be even better as a counselor again. Grant, the staff you have is fantastic. Make sure you keep them together. And you've done a good job for council as far as that goes. Steve, I already said the last meeting when I probably shouldn't have. I'm going to miss having you around. So anyway, good luck in the future.
All right, thank you, everyone. So we do have in camera tonight, so I need a motion to go in camera, please, by Deputy Mayor Barlock and seconded by Councillor Wood. Councillor Wayman has declared conflict, and we'll just finish the live feed.